Our second place finisher, Kyle Larson, driver of the number 5 Nations Guard Chevrolet. So if you have a question for either Kyle or Chase, please raise your hand. We're going to go next to Lee Spencer.
Thank you. Just for Chase real quick, did you have any of the brake issues that the 24 and the 48 experienced through the course of the race?
Fortunately, no, I did not.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to go to Daryl Kinsey.
Chase, how does a race like this build into next week going into Circuit of the Americas road course where you've been pretty strong at those types of tracks your last couple of years?
Yeah, honestly, it really doesn't. They're all kind of new opportunities in my opinion, and new weeks, and obviously a much different track than what we raced on today. So I don't feel like there's really any comparison at all.
All right, next we're going to go to Alan Cavanna.
This one's for Chase. I'm just planning ahead to the Coke 600, where Hendrick should be pretty fast again, as we've seen as it's a tracks like it earlier this year. You've come just about as close as possible to winning it. Can you just describe how tough it is to win a race like the Coke 600?
I haven't found an easy one to win personally, so I think they're all pretty difficult, and I don't think the Coke 600 is any different.
Is that last 100 miles any more significant than in the past, where it was about attrition, or what does that do for a driver?
No, as much as you want me to say yes, the answer is no. I mean, it's just not any different, really. It just happens to be another 100 miles.
Still a crown jewel, though, for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks, Dave.
All right, Chase, thanks for joining us. We're going to let you move on to your next media obligation, and we'll continue on with questions for Kyle Larson here. We will go to Bob.
Yeah, Kyle, do you feel like you're still learning some about the Hendrick cars, just as far as like restarts and other things, or do you feel like you're totally comfortable with the cars?
No, I mean, it all seemed pretty normal to me today. I don't know. Do you think I could have did anything different on a restart, Bob?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if you feel like you've, I don't want to say given it away, but do you feel like that there's still learning for you to do with these specific cars that potentially could help you be even stronger down the road?
Well, I mean, I think you learn every time you hit the racetrack, you learn something. So I'm sure I learned something today, and we'll be better again in the future.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to go to Chris Estrada.
Thank you. Kyle, this is the 267th win for Hendrick Motorsports. It's not every day you have an opportunity to catch and eclipse the king for a record. How meaningful is it to you to have contributed to those wins with your win at Las Vegas? And does having that record in front of you, do you feel like it'll add even more motivation for you and the car table as a whole, or is it just business as usual at Coda and beyond?
I mean, I think it's definitely business as usual, but we all know that milestone is out in front of us. We know that it's really important to Mr. H. He mentions it almost every time I feel like I talk to him. So, I hope we can get there quickly. I hope I'm the driver to do it, and break that record whenever we get to it. But yeah, it's definitely a cool milestone that, I think is obviously important to him, and to have a day like we all had today with, all 4 of us in the top 4, that's never been done at HMS. So this year has been great so far for organization, and we look forward to adding to it.
And if I could just do a quick follow-up, compared to Kansas, your quick post-race comments to TV sounded like it was more magnanimous about being second. So was it simply a fact of having all 4 Hendrick cars being equal as they are on lap times for performance, and whoever had clean air simply had the edge today? Yeah,
I mean, I honestly don't know if there was anything I could have done differently to win the race after we got came out second on pit road. You know, I would choose the top behind him and get to second every time. You know, maybe I could have chose the bottom one restart, but I still don't think I would have stayed with him to his inside or anything like that. Probably would have fell back to third or so. So I feel like we maximized our day. We were all just so equal. I think any of the four of us could have been out in the lead, and that person probably would have won. So just you know, we were all equal, and their pit crew did an awesome job. But our pit crew has been amazing all year too. So like I said, I'm not disappointed or upset about this second because I feel like there wasn't anything else I could do.
Thank you, Kyle.
Next, we're going to go to Martin Frank with the Delaware News Journal.
Hey, Kyle. I wanted to ask you, you know, last year you guys were here, obviously, and there were no fans in the stands. And, you know, this year it seemed like a decent crowd, and eventually you guys will be racing in front of full capacity. Just kind of like what it's like, you know, to be racing now more regularly in front of fans and, you know, more and more as the season goes along.
You know, I didn't get to experience it all last year, but I could imagine it was probably eerie, you know, not having any fans at these races. But today it felt close to normal. So was definitely happy to hear the crowd, you know, yelling and screaming before the race and afterwards too. So, you know, things are starting to feel like they're getting back to normal. I think we all love not having to wear masks throughout the garage area and outside anymore. So, yeah, it's getting normal again, and we're getting fans back, which is great.
Next, we're going to go to Alan Cavana.
Hey, Kyle, I'm just planning ahead for the Coke 600. For drivers, a crown jewel race for a driver like yourself, you know, Daytona, the Coke 600, your next opportunity at one. Do you think about those things ultimately, you know, in your career and on your trophy mantle, if you will, a trophy like the Coke 600?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I haven't thought about that race yet because it's we still have Coda and I don't know, maybe something else after that. But yeah, I mean, we all want to win the big ones. You know, I've been fortunate to win the All-Star race, which, you know, is a crown jewel. But for sure, you want to win all of them. You want to win, honestly, every race. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely one that's up there that means a lot. You know, I think the purse is really big too. So that I think that adds some ambition for everybody to want to go out there and win.
And can you just describe how that race plays out in terms of the day-night thing with the extra 100 miles, the challenge of that for you?
Yeah, I'm curious and excited to get there in Hendrick equipment. At Ganassi, I would always run really well at the All-Star race, and then I would run pretty good the first third of the 600 or so, and then I would always seem to lose the balance once it went to nighttime. So yeah, I guess we'll see what the difference is this year, but you know, maybe it'll be a lot different too because we don't have the All-Star race and stuff like that, all the extra laps on the track. So maybe it'll suit me a little bit better.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Lee Spencer.
Thank you. Just curious, Kyle, had it been anyone other than Bowman on the restart that had the lead, would you have been more aggressive? Because, I mean, clearly you don't want to take your teammate out on a restart.
No, I mean, I was really aggressive that one where I got to his bumper and pushed him through the middle of 1 and 2, and then again in the middle of 3 and 4. So at that point, I didn't really care it was a teammate in front of me or not. I wasn't going to push him any harder than I was there because I'd already had him pretty sideways, and same would have went for anybody else. You know, I'm not going to try and wreck anybody. So and the 4 car was coming really fast up top, so I didn't want to, you know, give him an advantage, just, you know, smoke by all of us. And you never know with him out front, he could be really, really fast. So we didn't want that to happen.
And do you take any solace in winning stages and leading the most laps?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it all looks good for stats and stuff, laps led, but you know, winning the two stages and gaining those couple points for the playoffs is really important. obviously we would have wanted, 5 more with the win, but we'll take what we can get and keep stacking them up as often as we can, and just try and position ourselves to be in a good spot come playoff time. So yeah, if you can't win the race, you definitely want to have a good points day.
Appreciate your time. Safe travels.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to take one more for Kyle. It'll come from Jacob Seelman.
Thanks, Steph. Kyle, you mentioned it's not what you wanted, but a big day for the organization as a whole. Chase said that he hasn't felt like communication has been too much different. And I know you haven't been at Hendrick Motorsports as long as the other guys, but what have you noticed as far as all 4 cars, running as well as they have? Or is there anything specific that you can attribute to how strong the team's been as a whole?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They've obviously had an amazing race team for a very, very long time. And I have found it interesting, multiple times throughout this year. Marshall Carlson at HMS, he'll talk about how everybody in the shop is so excited to be working there and working on our race cars, and they've never seen the organization happier and more excited to go racing than now. And I find that crazy to think, because you look at all the races that Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon and they've had multiple like powerhouse drivers at one time on their team, and for them to be saying this is the most excited they've ever been is pretty unreal to me. When we've got 4 just young guys in the sport and who haven't really won many races when you really think about it, compared to the guys that used to be there before us. So but I think maybe seeing a little bit of the future is what gets everybody really excited there. But yeah, just an awesome day for the organization, and glad I could be a part of it.
All right, Kyle, thanks for joining us today. Congratulations on the run with Hendrick today.
Thank you.